First up, when it comes to feeding cattle, it's important to keep in mind that not all hay is created equal. The bottom line here is if you know the quality of your hay, you can make better decisions in terms of supplementation. Earlier this year, Market Journal's Bill Dodd was joined by Mary Dronowski to go over why producers should consider testing their hay.
With hay in tight supply this year, it would be a good idea to test any hay you're planning on feeding your herd in order to ensure you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. Testing hay can help ensure that a producer's cattle are getting the nutrition they need while simultaneously helping avoid any additional costs due to overfeeding.
When we talk about testing hay, really what we're talking about is getting a sample of the hay and submitting it to a lab to get it analyzed to determine the nutrient content. In particular, we're really interested in the protein content, the energy content, and then also phosphorus. If we think about our current situation, if you're short on hay, we may also want to be able to limit how much hay we're actually feeding, and maybe that might be that you can limit feed and still be meeting needs of your cow herd because the hay quality is really good. And this year I would expect that with the lower precipitation, you might actually have some higher quality hay than in previous years. Or you might decide that I want to stretch my hay a little bit. I'm going to limit how much I feed and actually feed some more supplement, for instance. But all of that hinges on actually knowing the nutritional value of that hay to make sure that you actually can meet needs, whether it be by free feeding hay or limit feeding hay.
While testing your hay does add some cost and labor to your overall operation, the potential savings you could incur from the process far outweigh any of the associated costs with the testing process.
Hay testing is not very expensive, especially for common types of hay. You can get an NIR test, which costs maybe $20 for a sample. And if you think about your hay and you think about the amount of supplement you might need to feed, let's say brome grass hay, very common hay that is in eastern Nebraska anyways. From one year to the next, the feed values can vary tremendously. So we can have something that's maybe going down to even like a 48 to 50 TDN up to all the way to maybe even a 58 TDN. Well, that can be the difference between meeting a developing heifer's needs or needing to supplement her 3 or 4 pounds of distillers to actually meet her needs. So on average, the variation in the nutritive content, protein and energy in hay can really result in the amount that you may need to be feeding in terms of supplement, $20 to $40 per head over the winter. So spending $20 to get a hay test versus changing how much supplement you need to change from $20 to $40 per head, easy payback, right? So one of the things we suggest is actually using a hay core sampler. Most of our extension offices have one you can borrow. You can hook them up to a drill. They really can. If they're good and sharp, they can really help you to be able to get a nice representative sample because it goes through multiple layers in the bale, and you sample multiple bales, and you're going to send off just one sample that represents your whole versus actually taking a grab sample and representing 1 square foot, right? The labs are pretty doggone good at their job, right? They do a good job of analysis, but they're only as good as the sample that they get in.
When sampling your hay, the best practice is to sample by lot. This means if you're sampling from hay obtained over multiple fields with varying soil types and conditions, or if the hay was cut down at different times, you should be testing those as separate lots and not all together. This can give you an advantage when it comes to planning when you would like to feed your cattle hay with higher or lower nutritional values.
Those should be sampled separately. So if you have different fields, different even weed pressures in some fields, you want to make sure you're keeping those bales separate from other bales and actually sampling them separately so you get a better idea of the hay quality that you have, and also allows you to do a little bit more strategic planning. Right? The really high quality stuff you might say for your younger, for your heifers, or maybe for your younger cows, and the lower quality might be what you're using to get some of your more mature, older cows through the winter because it may be closer to their nutritional needs. And Nebraska Extension, our educators and our specialists can always help you once you have the hay test to plan out what you're going to feed to which groups and make a plan for how much supplementation you need. So you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to understand all of the analysis that you get back, but you're giving us more information and new tools to be able to best help you. Otherwise, we're making guesses, and our guesses might be wrong, and those guesses might be costly, right? Because either we do what I would say most of us end up doing, is being a little bit conservative and saying, well, we're going to guess it's a little bit lower quality and make sure we meet needs, and that may be requiring you to feed a little bit more than is actually needed.
When it comes to ensuring your cattle are getting the best nutrition they can over the coming cold months, taking action now and testing your hay could prove very beneficial for your herd and your bank account. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Bill Dodd.